Firstly, what is a database? A database is a program that's designed to hold or host a large amount of data. It's designed to host a large amount of data and enable you to quickly find, sort, search, and report on that data. And that's what a database is. Microsoft's solution to a database is a product called Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is a relational database, and this is the program we're going to have a look at. Now, I've started Microsoft Access, and the first thing I want to do is open a database that I've given you. So there's a database called Northwind. And so when you open up Access, if you haven't already opened up Northwind, it'll be listed here, or you can go into Open Other Files. I'll go into Open Other Files, I'll go Browse just to give you the complete picture, and then if I go to my desktop, which is where I put the file, I'll be able to open up the file Northwind. Now notice that Access files have the extension ACCDB. Now you may see this on your machine or you may not. It just depends on your Windows settings. I've set up my Windows to show me file extensions, and so I can see that this is an Access file, ACCDB, and this is another Access file. If it says *MDB, then it's an old Access database format, 2003 or prior. But for 2016 we have ACCDB files, and I'm going to just simply open up the Northwind file, and that's what I'd like you to do, is open up Northwind. Now as soon as you open up the Northwind file, what you see on the left hand side is what they call the navigation pane. This is very, very important pane for being able to access and get a hold of the various objects inside your database. Now you can see it's resizable because I've just been doing this and dragging this two-headed arrow. It's also, with the use of this button, which is called a shutter bar, you're also able to close and you're also able to open the navigation pane. So if it does get in your way, just hit the shutter bar. But I'm going to open up my navigation pane. Now what you see in your navigation pane may vary per database because it's how each database is set up. I'm actually seeing all Access objects, and they're being grouped into groups such as tables, and here they all are here. I have a total of eight tables. I can also see my queries listed here, and there's quite a few of those. I can also see my forms are then listed, my reports are then listed, my macros are then listed, and my modules are then listed. In this stage 1 course, we'll be looking at reports, we'll be looking at queries, forms, tables, and something called relationships. Now not only can you collapse and open the shutter bar, but you can also hit these buttons here to collapse the tables, collapse the queries, collapse the forms, collapse the reports, and so on. And just as easily you can hit the two V's to open the modules, open the macros, the reports, the forms, the queries, and the tables. So you can collapse and expand certain things. Now to control what you're actually seeing in here, we've actually got a drop down button here. And if I click that drop down button, what it's basically telling me is I can navigate by object type, and I'm seeing all the Access objects. If I wanted to filter a certain group, I could perhaps choose tables, and then all I'm seeing are the tables, and I'm not seeing all the other objects. And so this can be misleading, and that people don't realize that this database actually contains forms and queries as well as tables. So I can hit this drop down again and ask it to show me just the queries, ask it to show me just the forms, or what I prefer is to ask it to show me all Access objects. So you can filter your navigation pane. Now the other thing as well is if I hit this drop down, you can also control what you're actually seeing. Now I'm actually navigating by object type, tables, queries, forms, reports, but I could actually navigate by create date. And so now I'm actually seeing things that were older than a certain period. I can also hit this drop down here and say give me modified date. So then it organizes it by the date on which it was modified, today or older, and so on and so forth. But I'd actually like to choose object type, and I'd like to ensure that it's all Access objects. And I think this is best because you're seeing everything and it's grouped by tables, queries, forms, etc. Now the other option you have as well is besides these two buttons, you can right click. If I right click at the top here where it says all Access objects, I can actually show my information in my navigation pane, not as a list, but perhaps as an icon. And so I'm getting these big icons. Or I can right click and I can view by details. And when I view by details, I'm actually told that this is a table, when it was created, when it was last modified, and what it basically does. I can right click again and choose to view it by list, which I prefer because it's not so cumbersome, but it's good to know that these options are here. I can also choose to right click and sort by name, by create date, by modified date, or I can even sort or choose to categorize the information in the navigation pane in certain ways. And I've even got navigation options in a search bar here as well. So you can completely customize your navigation pane. But what I'd like to see you do is to right click, view by list, to hit this drop down and choose object type and all access objects, and to just resize it and show the navigation pane so it's nice and comfortable on your particular screen.